if you hate landing a spam or promo like all these poor people right here, then this video is going to be absolutely valuable for you, because in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly the 6 steps you need to take to get out of this spam to inbox every single time. So if you've been landing on spam, or if your client has been landing in spam, then this is the only email deliverability guide you will ever need to watch. Because honestly, like whenever I go on the internet and search about this topic, there is a lot of BS going around, like, oh, just remove spammer, just change your domain, like all this BS, right? Now, this may be true in some extent, but it's not like the full guide that you need. It's like just one aspect of it, and they just call it, oh, that's just do this and you're gonna get out of the spam tab. But that's not how it works, right? Now, this is exactly how I got my client Alvin from the spam tab to the inbox. And obviously, I'm going to blur the contact list because just out of pure respect for the client. So my basic point is this is going to be the most valuable email deliverability training out there on YouTube. Whether you're in e-com, info, cold emails, or you're doing email marketing for literally anything warm or cold, this training will 1000% help you make the most amount of money possible. So just so we're on the same page, what is deliverability? Now, according to Google, email deliverability refers to the success rate of emails reaching the recipient's inboxes rather than being filtered into spam or other folders. So basically, if I go back here, it basically means the rate of you constantly landing in the inbox, in the main inbox, where basically your email always gets seen, is email deliverability. And so if you land in the inbox, you have good deliverability, but if you land in promo or spam folder right here, you have absolute terrible deliverability, and you need to fix it, right? So what I want you to think about deliverability is kind of like a store. Imagine like you have a store, right? And some thief or scammer comes to your store. You're obviously going to not allow them in the store. You're going to kick them out. And imagine if some well-respected person comes to your store, like this handsome businessman right here. He comes to your store. You're obviously going to let him in because he looks like a respectable person, and he looks someone who won't scam you and who will actually buy from you, right? This is exactly how inboxes think about you when you're sending email. So if your email looks scammy or something like you're phishing or something, inboxes are not going to accept you. That's why they put you in the spam or the jail, right? And but if you look good, trustworthy, and if you're sending good trustworthy emails, the inboxes will consider you as a respectable person, and they will not put you in the jail, and they will keep putting you in the main inbox every single time. So basically, the inboxes will judge you based on your appearance rather than value. So even if you are a scammer, which I hope you're not, right? If you look like this, they're going to let you in. But if you are like a legit person and your email looks spammy, which a lot of them do, honestly, like especially since the start of AI, they're not gonna let you in, right? So how do you even know if you're landing in spam or promo? Now, there are two triggers you can look out for. One is low open rates, which is below 25%. So if you're getting like 1%, 2%, 12%, like even 20, 25% is very low, and it should be concerning you that you may be landing in promo. And if you're landing in spam, your open rates will absolutely tank to 1% and 2%. I even seen people with 0% open rate, so it can tank a lot if you're not like constantly fixing it. And second way you can use it is you going to mailtester.com, which I will do right now. If I can open this link, wait. Let me put this here. Okay. So if I click this link, I'll just show you exactly how this works. So basically you come in on this website, mailtester.com, you copy the email, you go to your inbox, whatever you're using, right? And you're going to basically send a test email right here. And you're going to send a test email to this. You can have the subject line like, yo, I would actually suggest you put your actual email you're sending out in this so you know exactly what like spam words and everything you're using. So I'll just send it as a test so you can see, for example, it is sent, and then check your score. Like this, it will make you wait a little. boom. And then once it's done, it's going to give you a score. For example, mine is 9.5 out of 10 because obviously I'm the G and that's why I'm making the video right now. So you can get this beautiful score right here. So Spam Assassin Lex is going to like basically tell you like, okay, this is good, this is good, this is bad, whatever, you're not blocklisted. You can, this is a lot, there is a lot of detail into this and you can go like very, very deep into this. But you can just check the basic score, and if you have some things like wrong, it will, I think, highlight in red, which is very good if you are landing a spam. So if I present back here, those are the two ways to know, okay, that you're 100% landing a spam and you need to be fixed. You need to fix your deliverability and you need to get out the spam so you can make more money for yourself or for a client. So now comes the fun part on fixing this. Now, the way I like to go about fixing deliverability for my clients is like I like to think about it in kind of like layers, so like different layers, and it starts from the easiest. I'll change my color here so it's easier for you. It starts from the easiest, so because obviously you don't want to do the hardest first, or otherwise you're going to spend a lot of time and you're gonna just realize, oh, I just didn't have the easiest thing, right? So how I want you to fix deliverability is go from the easiest, then go down like one by one to more harder, 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 harder until you reach the hardest one, and which is obviously domain. Now, I also run an agency where I personally help businesses like get out of spam and make extra money, make like 50 to 100K extra by weaponizing email lists and funnels. So if you want me to do all the steps I mentioned in this video done for you and you want to get out of spam as soon as possible, highly suggest you go down below this video and book a call with me. Like I said, free call, and I'm going to audit your entire inbox, and we're going to basically run all these steps, even some more, which if you run on based on SOPs, and then we can decide if you want to work or not, right? So that's a shameless plug of my pitch right there, and let's continue. So first step is check DNS records. Now think of DNS records for email like ID, like business card and reputation score of your email sending domain, but stored in a giant public phone book, the DNS. So kind of like it's like kind of like your reputation, right? So if you have a good reputation, they're going to constantly put you in the inbox. But if you have bad reputation, like compared to others, right? You're not gonna land in spam. You're not gonna land in primary. You're gonna land in spam. So the three DNS records you need to be looking out for is SPF, my beautiful arrow right there. SPF, that basically means Sender Policy Framework. It lists the servers allowed to send emails for your domain. Kind of like it's kind of like a allowance list. Okay, if this server is allowed to send emails for your domain, and DKIM, domain keys identified mail, adds a digital signature to your emails proving they are from you. So basically it's kind of like, okay, this is your email, like my beautiful drawing right here, right? This is your email, and basically DKIM signatures, okay, this is from you, it's digital signature, and basically tells the platform, okay, this is actually sent by you and not some, right, scammer, right? Because scammers don't go out there and set up these stuff and they just go out there and blast emails, right? So when they see, okay, this is signed by you or whatever domain you're using, they're basically going to be like, okay, this guy is signed and it means he's trustable. DMARC, domain-based message authentication, reporting, and confirmation. I never know the meaning of this, honestly. Before this, tells email provider what to do if an email doesn't pass SPF or DKIM. So it's basically kind of like a guideline or SOP for the Gmail or whatever inbox it is, right? It basically says, okay, if the person does not pass these, like it's kind of like a test. If it fails both of them, what should we do? And most of the time, it just decides you to put in spam. But I want you to treat all of these equally as important. Now, a great way I like to think about this is kind of like a club analogy. So basically, these DMARC is your bouncer, this is your primary inbox, and this is you. You have your SPF record, basically your guest list that, hey, I'm invited into this. And your DKIM is your signature, basically tells you, okay, you are signed, and it means you are the correct person to go inside this. And this person, basically the deliverability or the spam triggers or whatever, right? They see, okay, do you have this correct? Do you have this correct? Do you have this correct? If yes, you can go to the email club, which is your primary inbox. If not, you go straight to the trash can, right? So that's a good analogy. I like to think about it and and it helps you like internalize the concept of DNS records. Now comes the fun part: how to check your DNS. Now there are two main ways you can do that. Again, I'll stop presenting here and show you. First is going to Demarkian, which is a very cool site. You go to demarkian.com. You can grab the domain from here. You accept there's strict cookies. You put your domain name right here. I don't do like www dot. I don't think that really matters. Then you check domain. Then when it's checked, it's basically going to tell you, okay, this is red set, this is set, and that is set. So basically for my agency right here, DMARC is set. It gives you this. I'm not sure if I should be showing this. SPF is good. Which again is good. And DKIM, it isn't showing DKIM, but whenever I do send the email, it does have a DKIM signature. So I'm all good, right? Because I have it set up inside the DNS records. And the second way to do it is show original. And let me tell you what I mean by this. If I go to an inbox right here, there's a little technique I like to use, and it's pretty well known. I'm not sure you guys know this. When you go to someone email on desktop, you go show original. Now here you can see all three DNS records and if they pass or not. For example, this is pass, like the SPF is good, his DKIM is good, his DMARC is good. Like all of these are pass. If they are not, there is going to like tell you, okay, it's a fail. It's going to, I believe, is going to say fail here. So that's another way to check it. And I honestly would suggest you check both ways because sometimes the marking doesn't tell you DKIM. Just like I told you, like here it doesn't tell my domain doesn't have a DKIM, but when I do send and check original, it does pass the DKIM, so it means it is in place. So though that's how you check your DNS records. And now comes the even more fun part: how to add DNS records. Now I'm going to take a like show you through my setup, and I'm not sure how much of it am I allowed to show, and so I'm going to blur a lot of what's happening on my screen. All right, so we're back, and the basic way to check your DNS, especially like all Go, if you're using GoDaddy, Google, is all basically the same, just different UI. You basically go to your domain, whatever, right? You go to manage, and I'm not sure how much of this am I allowed to show. Probably going to blur a lot of this out just so I don't get hacked. So basically it's gonna kind of look like this. For example, this is my DKIM. Again, I'm going to blur half of it just to not get hacked because I'm not sure if it's safe to do that. And my SPF, like this is the DMARC, as you can see, and you can go down. There must be a SPF as well. And like I think the DMARC is the TXT record, and DKIM is a TXT record, and SPF, however, is a CNAME record like this. And this is my SPF from ConvertKit and whatever, right? It's super simple. There are like 1,000 videos on YouTube on how to do this for your specific domain hosting service. For example, I use Hostinger right now, which I may change honestly. And if you're using GoDaddy, Google, Hostinger, Namecheap, or whatever domain you or your client is using, you can just set them up. There are a million YouTube videos out there to do so. So that's how you add your DNS records. Now, it's for number two way to get out of spam, or the second layer. So once you check the DNS records and you're like, okay, the DNS records are fine, you're going to check number two, right? Which is your email content. Now, a lot of the time, the problem is your email looks spammy, and it connects back to the main point I make. Like if your email looks scammy, they are going to put you as spam, even if you are like giving the most amount of value in the whole world, right? They're still going to put you in spam because they don't really care. They're not checking like they're not reading like a human do. They have like a lot of AI processes which check for spam triggers and everything. And I'm going to explain this in this section. So Number one, avoid spam words. Many email providers scan your content for certain triggers and phrases. For example, act now, make money fast, click here, free. There are a lot of it. These, like, you can search it up. There are like active campaign. I'm going to show some right here as well. These words can make you look like a scammer, even if you're legit. With, again, points back to my main point that if your emails look like like a scammer, you are going to be put in the spam folder or promo folder, right? And spam words are, if you don't know, spam words are keyword phrases that trigger spam filters, causing emails to be routed to the recipient's spam or junk folder instead of their inbox. Basically, it's like kind of like an AI bot checking, okay, is this good? No, you go to spam. If it does not have these triggers, okay, you're good to go. You go to primary, right? It's kind of like that. And the solution to this is rewrite your emails or whatever you're sending to sound more natural, less salesy, and controversial. For example, I see a lot of this in cold emails as well. Like they do a lot of scammy stuff like urgency, and it always triggers the spam trigger, and they always end up going to spam. So spam filters to check for spam filters, check for red flags like the use of certain words, links to sketchy website, messages in all caps. Yes, do not send all caps like subject line. That's a big no. And broken HTML code, colorful and different size fonts, email without an unsubscribe button, which they kind of like made very, very necessary in the recent February, I think, email deliverability changes. They're much more stricter with the unsubscribe button, so anyone should be able to unsubscribe from your email list. So number two is formatting, right? It's also kind of like a spam word, but it's not a word, but it's formatting. Email filters don't just look at your words, they also analyze the design of your email. The more heavily designed it looks, the more it resembles mass marketing spam. Because if you notice, if you go into your like promo or spam tab, most of these emails are going to be either extremely sus looking, like suspicious, or they're going to be like extremely designed, kind of like ecom. And I'm also, if you're doing ecom, I'm going to tell you exactly how to like get away with this, get away with a lot of designing, because obviously there is a lot of designing in ecom emails and you cannot avoid that. And again, if you want to avoid spam words and everything, you can just look at this list, and there's like, you can just search, I think, active campaign spam word trigger, and it's going to give you this entire list of spam triggers you need to be careful of. You can even make a custom chat GPT to help you point these out, right? So best practices for deliverability, especially in like formatting and spam trigger wise, is use minimal HTML. Basically, by HTML, I mean is every email is designed in HTML, even if you don't design it directly. It is like indirectly designed through HTML. The images are from HTML. It's the whole HTML code, right? So what you want to do is make sure that you have as less designing as possible, and you use plain text or light formatting whenever possible. And you want to make sure you limit images to 1 to 2 images max in non-ecom emails. And I'm going to cover what you should do if you're in ecom. And avoid embedding links inside images, massive spam trigger. So what an embedding link is, basically you put the link inside the image. So if you click the image, you're gonna be redirected to the link. And that is a huge spam trigger in like most inboxes out there, like Gmail, Outlook. And you need to make sure you don't do this, because they're 100% going to put you in spam if you have like 3-4 images and they have link embedded into it. So never do that, please. Keep links to 2 to 3 or fewer per email, unless you're in ecom again, where more links are natural and expected. So basically, you want to make sure you don't send like 10 links in a single email. That's going to classify your email as spam, and it's going to put you in promo or spam faster than like a lot of stuff, right? So that's why if you notice the emails of people who consistently land in primary, like Ben Settle, Justin Goff, Stephen Georgie, and all these legends, right? All these legends, email legends, they never land in spam. It's because you see that they have the most raw emails out of it there. Like it's literally just text, plain text, and 1 or 2 images max and links. That's literally it, right? They don't have like extremely designed emails or whatever. Ben Settle even has his own ESP, and he doesn't even allow you to format is so strict because he knows that adding extra links, adding a lot of images, adding like extra, like for no reason, adding extra HTML code to it, it will make your deliverability worse. And these people understand that. And if you want to land in primary, you need to understand that as well. So note for ecom people, if you're in ecom, you'll naturally have more product images, more clickable links, more visuals. Because of this, you need to focus even more on the authentication, domain health, and the next step in this guide to offset the deliverability risk. So it's like if you ignore this, if you kind of ignore this a bit, if you're in ecom, and you have to focus a lot on the other aspects I'm about to show you. So the core principle is email providers are biased toward personal human looking messages. This is like internalize this, because the more human you look, the better chances you have to land in primary. So plain text or HTML heavy templates, natural conversation or sales pitch vibe, personal feel, mass market look. So it's basically like the more you can make it look like a friend's email, like you're sending directly to a friend or business, like business partner or something, the more is going to land in primary, because Gmail thinks, okay, this guy's like sending actual valuable emails and it's kind of like a one-on-one conversation. Let me put them in primary tab. So just make sure that your human look as email as possible, because no friend will send you like 7 images in a single email, right? That's just not how it works. So think of it like this: if your email could pass a quick note to a friend, it's more likely to hit the inbox. Now, step number 3, clean your email list. Now, once you pass step 1 and 2, you need to start cleaning the list. Now, what is list cleaning? In simple term, email list cleaning, also known as email scrubbing, which is the first time I'm hearing that word honestly, is the process of removing invalid, inactive, or unengaged email addresses from your contact list to improve deliverability and campaign effectiveness. Or basically, you remove all the terrible addresses in your email list, because like I have written down here, unless you have double opt-in, aka confirming subscription via email before being added, kind of like an like 2FA, right? So if you don't have that kind of stuff like done already, your list will almost always collect some bad addresses over time. This means spam traps, emails set up by inbox providers to catch spammers, typos or fake addresses like test@test.com. If you don't have 2FA or double opt-in, you are going to see a lot of this, like random xyz at blah 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 blah.com, right? These are type of fake addresses you collect over time. You're gonna collect bots or disposable emails, or people like addresses that bounce. You're going to collect inactive subscribers who haven't opened an email in months. Like there are people who haven't like opened emails in 6 months, 7 months. Those are the people who are destroying your deliverability, even though there might be actual real person people, right? So the reason why this is important is because a dirty list can kill your deliverability faster than Anakin killed the young Liz in Star Wars. So it's kind of like this. This is your deliverability, a cute little child, and this is your dirty email list. It's going to absolutely slay the child. Now, why? Because sending to spam trap signals to providers that you're not careful. High bounce rates make your domain IP look unreliable, and low engagement rates, like people not opening or people not clicking, signals that your emails are not wanted. Or in simple words, translation, even if your content is amazing, Gmail will treat you like Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, or whatever your users have or your email list have. It will treat you like a spammer if you keep emailing dead weight. This is also called your list health. In other words, your list health is basically kind of like a credit score for a sender reputation. So healthy list is equal to low bounce rate, high open rate, consistent engagement. So if you have like very low of these bad stuff, like low bad, like no bad addresses, very always high open rates, you have low bounce rate. If you don't know what bounce rate is, basically it doesn't hit the inbox, and it like gives you an error that, hey, this isn't a valid email address, and we can't send this email address, right? That is a bounce. And if you have low of those and high of open rate and good engagement, you will have a very healthy list, and you honestly will never need to worry about email deliverability. But if you have an unhealthy list, high bounce rate, lots of spam traps, low opens, many inactives, and subscribers, and then you're going to always land in spam, right? Or promo, because you'll keep sending to people who either don't open, or either they don't like even receive your email. So think of it like this: good list is Ferrari on a racetrack, bad list is Ferrari with flat tire. So if you have a good list, you basically have a Ferrari on a racetrack, and if you have a bad list, you have like good potential, but you can't drive it. It's not doing anything of value because it can't be driven around, right? It can't be used. So that's how you should think of like good and bad lists. And now the natural question you will have is, how do I clean my email list? And A, remove obvious junk manually, like delete role emails like sales at business.com, info at, especially info. There's a lot of info type emails like this. And you should make sure that you add like a qualifier where you don't let people who have the word info in their email addresses onto your list, or support or help or whatever, right? Whatever these generic emails, you want to make sure you remove, or don't even let them in. There are ESPs allow you to do this, and they allow you to not like filter these out before them even signing up to the email list. So you can remove those kind of addresses, remove addresses with typos in the domain, example gmail.com, or Yahoo with one O instead of two, or Outlook with like, I don't know, like without a U, right? Like obvious typos in the domain. Remove these addresses as quickly as you can. B, use a professional cleaning tool. Options: never bounce, zero bounce, bouncer, list-wise clean email. These are like, there are a lot of tools online for this, and these will identify spam traps, invalid emails, and risky domains. All you have to do is export your email list and put in this platform, and these will basically clean your entire list without you having to lift a single finger. Now, and even nowadays, I've seen this in Active Campaign and a bunch of other ESPs. They have an option to clean your list as well. So use that, right? While you pay someone extra something like platform like Never Bounce, Zero Bounce, or platforms like these extra money, while you can just use what you already have on your software, what you're already paying for, right? So use that. And number C, segment by engagement. Put inactive subscribers 90 plus days and open it to a re-engagement campaign. More on this in a bit, and I'm going to cover this in a lot of detail with examples. If they still don't engage, remove them. Do this every 3 to 6 months. If you email regularly, if you send aggressive cold email campaign, clean your list weekly or monthly, right? So if you send like a lot of cold email campaigns, make sure you do this a lot. And if you not send cold emails, you send warm emails like email marketing or whatever. Make sure you clean your list and have it healthy. Make sure your list health is very healthy. Check it every 3 to 6 months to make sure you never get bad list. Now, by now, a lot of time has been spent, and we've covered the three most important ones, like the three first important ones, not the most important ones. Now we have the other three left, which are going to now start in the harder category. So they're not going to be very easy to fix like the first three. Because honestly, for what is first three, just add DNS records takes like 10 minutes. Second, email content. This takes a little bit of time and like a brain to do it. And if you don't know what spam triggers are, etc., you're going to struggle with this. And third one is basically cleaning up your list. Softwares do this by themselves, and you most of the times don't have to manually do this. Now comes the hard part. Now, number 4, warm up your domain. Now, what is domain warm up? Domain warm up is like building your email street cred with inbox providers. If you blast thousands of emails from a fresh or neglected domain, providers think, whoa, who's this random dude suddenly emailing everyone? And result, straight to spam. Warm up slowly builds your sender reputation, so Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, etc. trust your emails and put them in the inbox. So it's basically like, you can't, if you have like a domain which is email which is not used to sending in high like a lot of volumes, like if it's not used to sending 1,000, 3,000, 5,000 emails a day, then is going to instantly land up in spam because it doesn't have a history. Kind of like a credit score, right? Is you want to make sure you have a good history before spending a lot of money. So kind of like similar to that is your domain warm up. if you have a good history, you can send like millions of emails like a month and get away with it without any problem. But if you don't, then you will land in promo because they don't know you that much. Inbox providers don't trust you that much. Now, with that also comes the topic of sender reputation. And think of inbox providers like Gmail and Outlook as the neighborhood gossip. If they hear you've been sending friendly, valuable emails and people reply, they say, "Oh, yeah, Alex, cool. Let him in." Right? So it's like, if you, in the eyes of Google, either Gmail, Outlook, or whatever platforms you're sending to, if in the eyes for them you are like a cool person, you're basically going to skip the spam tags, go straight in the primary. They're not even going to look like think about putting you in spam. But if they hear you send mass ignored or spammy looking emails, they spread the word like don't open this stuff, it's junk. So it actually decides to put you in the junk tab. So your goal is to get good gossip going about your domain. That is your sender reputation. So good reputation, inbox placement, bad reputation, spam folder. It's based on engagement rates, signals, opens, click, replies, complaint rates, and bounce rates, etc. So it's kind of like if you have good engagement, you will naturally have a better sender reputation than others. And if you have bad engagement, like low open rate, low click rates, and very low reply rates, which is very important, you are naturally going to land in promo and spam. Now, that leaves us with the question, how do you warm up your domain? Now, instead of emailing everyone at once, like blasting millions of emails a month, start small with your most engaged people and expand slowly. So this is the segmentation strategy we use at Revloft to make sure our clients always land in primary and make sure that their domain is fully warmed up. So we make different segments of 7-day clickers. They're basically people who click your emails in the last 7 days. This is your hottest segment, right? Because they're engaging with your email in a very good way. Because click is there's hierarchy to engagement. So open rate is the lowest in hierarchy. And after that comes clicks, that's higher. After that comes replies, that's higher, and so on, right? So you want to make sure that you can segment your list in that when you're warming up. So you 7-day clickers, 30-day clickers, so people who clicked in the last 30 days, then your the 14-day openers. Now, if you're wondering, like, if you have 30-day clickers, why did we get less people? But the reason why is because 14 days openers would have like twice the amount of people than in 30-day clickers, right? Because there are less people clicking your emails compared to people opening your emails. Like even if you have 50% open rate, you're only going to have like 5-6% click rate. That's like kind of on the maximum end, right? So you will naturally have more opens and openers. So that's why we kind of jump down from the days here. Then we have a 60-day openers, then we have a 90-day openers. And to create these segments, go on whatever platform you're using. I personally like to use Active Campaign for my clients. So, or if whatever you're using, right? You don't have to change it right now. You go to segment, you create a segment right here. Use name, click main, like give it a name. I like to stay organized and use these same names because I've been using it for so long, so it kind of resonates with my brain. Then you condition, make sure your condition looks exactly like this. So has clicked on a link, campaign, any link in the last 7 days. So what it's basically telling is like the person, like the way we're filtering these people out is they have clicked any link. It could be anything. It could be your Instagram, could be your sales page, could be a like Stripe checkout page, right? They have clicked that link in the past 7 days in from any email you sent. That's basically the main condition here. And for opener, it's kind of the same, but it's different to clicks because it's like has open campaign. So it's like the person has opened any campaign or any email you sent in the last 90 days. So 90-day openers, that's why that's the name. And once you have these segments in, start sending hyper valuable emails to first engaged list you created. You could even use freebies for this as well. The only goal of these emails is to farm replies. The more replies you get, and the higher your sender reputation will be, the more chances of you landing in primary for the next segment. Like I said, like your engagement rate is like decided in a hierarchical manner. So it's kind of like first, your lowest in the hierarchy is open rate, second is click rate, then the best thing that's going to improve your sender reputation is replies. So make sure you're farming replies, like your life depends on it, because honestly it kind of does if you're landing in spam. So your main goal with this whole warm-up is to farm replies. So for per segment, I would honestly send one email a day for 4 to 5 days until I increase the pool and go to the next segment. If you're sending cold emails, then you can automate this part by using instantly auto warm up and or snooze.io. Like there are many like softwares to do this if you're doing cold email. But again, if you're not doing cold email and you're doing email marketing or whatever, right? If you're just sending emails for no reason, like for any reason, honestly, then make sure you like send one email a day, 4 to 5 days. For 4 to 5 days, then increase the pool. It means, for example, you send one email a day for 5 days for clickers, then you change the segment, then you send one email a day to this segment, and this segment is naturally going to contain this segment because the clickers, if someone clicked on their link, obviously they open the email as well, so kind of obvious, but now you know, right? So pro tip, never send email blasts to your entire list unless it's a new promotion once or twice a month. Always make sure you only send to a 90-day engaged segments because 90 days is a big time frame, and if someone isn't opening your emails in that big time frame, they're probably not going to open anyways and will hurt your deliverability. So if like someone hasn't opened your email in 90 days, like you need to remove them from your main list, and you shouldn't be emailing them a lot. And once or twice a month, if you want to like get more people back into your list, you can send a promotion email, send a good valuable email or freebie, and just get more people into it. But don't consistently send people to people who aren't opening your email because it's going to hurt your deliverability by a lot. And also another pro tip, make sure your welcome sequence is solid because first few emails your readers get from you set the tone for where future emails will land, primary or promotion or spam. So I don't like this like saying like first impressions matter, but they actually do, right? So make sure your welcome sequence is extremely solid. So always make sure you farm replies in the beginning as well because replies come at the top of the sender reputation hierarchy, like I mentioned. There are multiple ways to do this. You can just ask as goodwill. So this is basically how you farm replies. Now you can ask as a goodwill, like if we just make sure you reply to this email and it's going to improve the deliverability. Make sure you always get my emails in primary. That's kind of like the good part. You can thread them if you don't reply, you remove from your list as you only want action takers. I like this one a lot, but because it works, right? If you just say reply to this email with a certain word, like reply to this email with like received or whatever trigger you have, and that only I will keep people who reply to that word. I'm going to remove everyone else because I want to make sure my list has action takers and blah blah blah. Or you can bribe them using another lead magnet, or if you're in ecom, you can bribe them with a discount code. So in your welcome email, you can basically have like another lead magnet, basically like, hey, if you reply to this, I also have another like super important, super cool lead magnet or discount code for you. Just reply to this email and I'll send it to you, and you can set up an automation for that. For whoever replies that certain keyword, you just send them that. So it's very easy to farm replies, or you can frame it as a question. So like, I want to know more about you, kind of like goodwill ask. Just you're saying, hey, I want to know more about you, and what you do. Make sure you reply to this email and give me a little introduction of who you are and what you do and blah blah blah. So basically, you in the beginning of your warm up and until you're warming up and you're in your welcome sequence, you're going to be a farmer. This is going to be used, and you're going to be farming replies like this. So that's number 4. And next on our list is change ESP. Now, I don't see a lot of people talking about this, but ESPs play a very large role, more than they should, honestly, in your deliverability. And the reason why, and let me just show you because it's easier that way, right? Because all your emails are secretly signed by your ESP. Like if you go here, you go to original, show original. Like it doesn't have this specific one, but if you scroll down to this, you can see like there's like somewhere here where you can see the sign. But for most people, if I go to someone kind of like I think I even showed for this, right? You go here and you see using active campaign mailer, right? So this is signed by active campaign. Or if you go to this guy, for example, this guy, right? And you show original. Now it doesn't show the like the sign here, but down here you can see here. Boom. Shared.clavio mail. So it said it's signed by Clavio. I don't know why he's using Clavio for info, but it is what it is. Basically, my main point is your emails are signed by your ESP. So you want to make sure you are using the right ESP. And again, like I show here, you can see it is signed. And this means that if you're using an ESP that doesn't have a good reputation, the ESP might be the reason you're going to spam. Now, obviously, I don't want you to burn money on a new ESP just to realize that ESP wasn't the problem, right? So you will just be throwing your like, if you have a big list, you're going to be throwing a lot of money on this. So how I test this for my clients for free, honestly, is without wasting any budget. Is first identify your current ESP. Example: Active Campaign, Mailchimp, ConvertKit, Klaviyo, a MailerLite, or whatever you're using. Pick a close competitor ESP. For example, if you're using ActiveCampaign, try ConvertKit. If you're using MailChimp, try ActiveCampaign. The idea is to choose an ESP in the same or better tier, but with a different sending infrastructure. Then once you find, like if you're in anything than ActiveCampaign, I would just suggest you go to ActiveCampaign. They have the best deliverability in that criteria. And you can also use ConvertKit. I've seen, like I personally used ConvertKit myself a lot, and it has very good open rates. It's very good, and it's not like come into the spam category. So you can use both of this. Mailchimp is kind of suspicious. I don't really like that. So you can use whatever you want. Just make sure it's a good ESP with a high reputation. Once you do that, start a free trial. Most ESPs offer 7 to 14 days free. Export and import your list. So export your contacts from your current ESP, import them into the new ESP, connect to a domain, update DNS records if needed, run a mini test, send 3 emails over 3 to 7 days. If open rates improve significantly, your ESP was the bottleneck. So switch permanently. So if you see, okay, my open rates have now actually like magically better, right? Just switch to that ESP and cancel your current subscription of the current ESP and switch to the new ESP. But if the results are same or there isn't like a very significant change, then keep your current ESP, cancel your trial on the new one, and move on to the next deliverability there. Now, one middle thing I want to add here is because the next one is kind of difficult and it requires a lot of like technical setup. So one thing I want to think about the spam issues is like a car tire. Imagine the main reputation is like a car tire. If you hit a nail, land in spam, and notice it immediately, you can pad the hole quickly with no lasting damage. So if you get a like car punctured and you basically get it fixed ASAP, you're not going to see any extra damage and it's going to be fixed. But if you keep driving that puncture without fixing it, things go downhill fast. For example, tire wears unevenly. And if you translate that to email, domain reputation gets first. So every extra mile on a bad tire grinds away more rubber and blah, blah, blah. Damage spreads beyond the tire, multiple deliverability factors got hit. So eventually you're not replacing the tire, you're replacing the rim, suspension, maybe even alignment. So you're spending what should have been like a very cheap fix. Now you're paying hundreds and thousands of dollars just to get that fixed, right? And email terms, this means your IP reputation, domain reputation, engagement all get dragged down together. Small fix turns into a big repair job. So a quick patch might cost $20 in 10 minutes and ignore it for months. And you're looking for hundreds in repairs, just like I said. In deliverability, a fresh spam hit my blah, blah, blah. You can just read it. So my basic point is the more you not look into your spam issues and the more you have them and the more you ignore it, the more you try to ignore it, the worse they will get. So if you started to get like lower open rates like a few days ago, and if you start fixing it today, you're going to get it fixed super quickly, and you're going to not hurt your domain, and you won't even have to get into this step. But if you've been landing the spam for months straight and or promo for months straight, then it's basically like you've been hurting your overall reputation for so long that it basically makes your domain kind of useless for sending email unless you can do like a very long 6 month long warm up, right? So now last resort for if you still landing a spam after all these 5 steps is last result is to get a fresh domain, ideally 60 to 90 days old. And but don't just get a new domain and start sending immediately. That's equivalent to you not changing the domain in the first place. Because when you get a new domain, it takes like 60 to 90 days for it to like get inside like Google's, I don't know, like database or something. And you basically need to make sure it's old, like 90 days old around. So, and it's going to be ready to send. So when you get the new domain, once you've got the domain age, put it as a reply to email for a while. And this is the only hack I've seen no one on YouTube ever tell. And I've been secretly using this so much for my clients and have like changed domains like this and gotten so much many like crazy like spam to primary tab results with this. So basically what you want to do is go to your ESP, and there are basically 2 emails you have to add in your ESP. If one is your from email and one is your reply to email. Basically, your from email is the email you send it from, and reply email is basically the email you get replies from. So if someone replies to your email, this is going to be the reply. For example, if you see Hormozy, the from email is value@acquisition.com, reply to email is support@acquisition.com. Then send emails asking to reply like we did in the warm-up. You can send freebies in this as well for people who reply, and basically farm reply like this as this increase your simple sender reputation kind of in cheating way. So what this basically does, like in super simple terms, you're sending it your terrible domain and you're going to get replies on this domain. So what's going to happen is the sender reputation, whenever you get a reply, the sender reputation is going to increase on this new domain and not this one. And that is exactly what we want. We want the new domain to get better sender reputation and get warmed up. So we're basically using this one and warming up this. We basically use this as a sacrifice domain because it's already burnt out, right? And we're going to use this as kind of like a cheating way to increase their reputation. Then in a few weeks, 2 prefix is good enough. Change the old from email to the new email address. You've been warming up. Then again, send a small highly engaged list and basically do the same warm-up process. So once you're done with that, change your from email to the reply to email again. So the email you were farming replies at and increasing the sender reputation. Change it back, change your from email to that specific email again, and you should be good. And you should like 100% land in primary by now. And if you haven't, did the like warm up and thing, then you must probably skip some step in this because this is literally everything you need to get out of spam. So those were the 6 layers of getting out of spam. And to recap, basically, check your DNS records and make sure you have SPF, DMARC, DKIM in check. Make sure your email content is not spammy and is not using any spam triggers. Make sure your list, you have a healthy list. Make sure you then warm up your email. Then you change your ESP. Then if nothing works, then change your domain. Now, again, if you want us to do this exact step, like step by step for you, so you don't have to lift a finger and you start landing in primary and suddenly you start making 50, 100K extra per month by your email list and by optimizing your funnel, then go below this video and book a free call with me and my team. It basically is me and my business partner, and we're going to audit your list from there and audit your funnels, and we can talk from there and see if will be a good fit or not. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.